Welcome back, friends, to my next worm video. As you can see, this is Worm Bin 2, and is the first of two feedings in this video. I'm going to start by, as always, uncovering the bin and digging right in. Starting to dig into the left-hand side, which is not the side that I fed last time. I fed on the right-hand side, which you'll see in a moment. The undigested stuff you see in there is just some newspaper I buried on the left-hand side when I 7 days ago when I buried the worms and everything. Something I'm noticing in this bin is I am noticing the population rising, it seems like. In this video, you'll see there's just worms everywhere in the bin. It's just much more densely populated, and there's just worms all over the place, which is really nice. Right here, you'll see the feeding that I did last week. And now we're going to dig in to see what happened to that feeding. Right away, we got a beautiful worm ball right in the corner there. There's always a bunch in the corner, it seems like, where I last fed. So something I'm doing with this bin, I might be overfeeding it, but it seems to be working because the population is rising drastically, and it's not spoiling. It's not like the bin smells or anything is causing a stink and making rotted food. There is leftover food from 7 days ago, and you'll see that in the next feeding as well. But I'm really not concerned about that because the population's rising. There's worms everywhere. They're getting at everything. And what I'm doing with my other bin, with bin 1, is I'm not feeding it anymore. I'm transitioning to harvest castings now out of it. But I still have food scraps from my kitchen that I want to get rid of. And ideally, I don't want to just, throw it in the collection bin for compost. I want to use it for the worms. So now I have more than normal because I'm not feeding bin 1 anymore, so I can harvest castings. So now I'm going to keep feeding this bin, and it's going to be, I'm going to be feeding it maybe a little bit more than normal. But hopefully it won't take too long to harvest castings from that other bin, so I can start a new bin after I harvest that, and I won't have extra food anymore. I can feed it all. So right here, as always, is a mishmash of stuff. We got some leftover greens, some cantaloupe, some rice. So as I was saying, we're doing large feedings. I guess I didn't do that large on this one. I think my next one is larger. And even after the next feeding you'll see in this video, after I was done, I actually have a full gallon Ziploc bag of a bunch of food that is ready for worms. And I'm just going to leave it in my freezer until I'm ready to feed it to the worms again. So that was that feeding back on the 1st of May. Now I'm going to cover it up and we're going to see how it looks 7 days later. Here we are now, 8 May. You see a lot of worms hanging out. I put 2 layers of newspaper on top. And obviously you can see there's a lot of worms hanging out on that top layer, which is pretty cool to see when you open the bin. Now I'm going to start digging in the left-hand side here. And as I was saying earlier, obviously not all the food gets eaten up in a week. But as I was describing, and I think it's illustrated even better in this part of the video as I'll rummage through the rest of this, there is worms everywhere in this bin. It is fairly densely populated. There's just a lot of worms. I'm actually curious how many worms there are. I think I started with, back in January, I think I started with 500 worms in one bin. And now I have two of these bins. I have no idea how many worms. Like, I haven't even thought to try to guess how many. There's got to be... There's got to be a lot more than 500 worms. I'll say that much. From what I started with. A recurring theme in my recent videos has also been that my bins are too wet. So I'm attempting to do my best to not add liquid when I feed, and to add a little bit of extra shredded cardboard and paper. I hope it's not an issue that my other bin 1 is too wet when I try to harvest the castings. So I'm trying to dry it out. I actually did my most recent feeding that you'll see probably, or my most recent check-in on it that you'll see next week, my next week's video. I did not put the plastic cover over it anymore. And on this one, on this bin, I'm still feeding it. So I'm just adding a lot of extra shredded cardboard. I was surprised to see some leftover food on the right-hand side, actually. Because that should be stuff from 14 days ago. So I don't know what that is, really. There's just a couple of spots with that. Whatever that is. So really not much on the right-hand side. But like I said, there's just worms everywhere. Everywhere in this bin. So I'm just clearing out the right-hand side for the next feeding. That we'll see in a moment here. Yeah, I think I did about 3 handfuls of that. And even put some after I put the food on as well. So what we have in this one, some more cantaloupe, some bananas, a little bit of broccoli, and some kale, some other greens. And a couple of eggshells crushed up. So I'm going to cover this up, and we're approaching the end of the video now. I'm having fun doing these. I really appreciate the people that are watching these and giving comments or liking. It's really cool and fun to see. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to keep posting every week as advertised. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.